It's my party and I'll cry if I want to, cry if I want to, cry. Sorry, no Melanie's like a shitty human, but y'all gotta admit, her songs are still banging. Hi, hello, or welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Ren. I make writing, reading, productivity, and goal setting content on here. So if that sounds good to you, definitely hit that big red subscribe button down below and turn on those post notifications so that you never miss an upload from me. Today's a very special birthday because today's my birthday. I am officially 22 years old, which is great, and yay. In all honesty, guys, I have a very bad relationship with my birthday. I don't want to say bad. I want to say complicated. I have a very complicated relationship with my birthday. And one of my goals for this year was to enjoy my birthday more. Now, I'm filming this video in advance, so I don't know if I did or not. I'll get back to you. Follow me on Instagram. I'm sure I'll be posting about it. I thought that it would be fun to do one of those X lessons I've learned by X videos that I've seen floating around on YouTube for like years now. I've never done one, and I thought it'd be fun. So today we are doing 22 lessons about writing and life that I have learned by 22. So yay. Also, in typical Ren fashion, I have separated these lessons into categories that we're going to go over. My first category is 5 lessons about people. Our second one is going to be 3 lessons about mental health and trauma, because this will be an uplifting video. My third category is general life lessons. We got a total of 9. And then of course we got our writing category, which I came up with a total of 4 lessons. I thought I would have more for the writing category, but honestly I couldn't think of many more. I'm a writer. I know words. Let's start off strong with the 5 lessons I've learned by 22 about people. Lesson number 1, when you end a relationship with somebody, whether that's a friendship or a romantic relationship, a familial relationship, whatever, the third party is almost always going to treat you as the bad guy. They are almost always going to say that you did this or that you were a shitty person because you did that. And a lot of the times that's not true. But at the end of the day, you can't control that. You can't control what people say about you. You can't control what people think about you. The only thing that you can control is what words come out of your mouth and what actions that you do. Because at the end of the day, these people do that to get a reaction out of you. These people do that to get a rise out of you. Lesson number 2 about people is that be careful with who you surround yourself with, because whether or not that you may realize it, the people that we surround ourselves with influence us. People's words that they use, their morals, their beliefs, all of that rubs off on you when you spend time with somebody. When you spend an extended amount of time with somebody, all of that stuff starts to rub out on you. And pay attention to how you feel around those people. Do you feel upset and miserable and angry most of the time when you're with them? Then you probably shouldn't be around them. And I know that sounds like common sense, but I think that was one of the biggest lessons I've learned personally in the last 2 years. Just be intentional with the people that you surround yourself with, and pay attention to how you feel most of the time when you're around them. Because the whole point of having friends or having a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a partner is that they make you happy. So if they're not making you happy most of the time, then you should probably reevaluate that dynamic. Lesson number 3 is that it's okay to cut people out of your life. I know that a lot of people struggle cutting out friends and family members and partners and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not one of those people, okay? I'm a cold, heartless bitch. If I don't feel like someone is adding to my life, if I feel like someone is dragging me down, I am the first to hit that block button and never talk to them again. Because I've learned the hard way throughout my life that when you don't do that, then all that's going to happen is all of their bad behavior, all of their bad traits are just going to continue. Yes, sometimes people can change, but most of the time they don't. Because people only change when they want to change. If they don't want to, then fucking cut them out. The number 4 is that listen when people say that someone isn't treating you well. Because let me tell you this, I have had many people in my life tell me very bad things about two people in particular that I used to associate with. And I would just be like, no, you're crazy. They would never do that. No, that's insane. Yeah, they were right. Because here's the thing. If more than 4 or 5 people are telling you the same exact thing about one person, you need to listen to them. You need to carefully examine what they are saying and why, because most of the time, people don't gain anything by convincing you to cut an asshole out of your life. Unless you're dating them, they want to date the asshole, but most of the time, people don't gain anything from that. You gotta think, why would they lie to you? Why would they make this shit up? Especially when it's more than one person, start listening to them. But my final lesson about people is number 5. Quality is better than quantity. For the longest time, I always thought that I needed this big friend group of friends. I thought that, if I didn't have 10 plus friends, that I wasn't being social enough. That meant I was weird, or that people didn't want to be my friend or whatever. And then I got that friend group. And then I questioned my life choices I'm still questioning my life choices about that friend group in particular, actually. Here's the thing. I've had it both ways. I've had a good amount of friends that I knew talked behind my back, that really didn't want me around, that misgendered me constantly, dead named me, made fun of me, made me feel like shit. And then I have my life now where I have 3 friends. For the most part, they love me, they support me, we have a great dynamic. I fucking live with 2 of them. And that is way more priceless than having 10 or more friends that genuinely would not give 2 shits about you. Let's move on to the mental health and trauma lessons I've learned throughout my life. I could honestly make a whole video about this, but I'm not going to, because that's not the point of my channel. So life lesson number 6 is moving on from past traumas is not a linear process. There are going to be ebbs, there are going to be flows, and honestly, you're probably not even going to realize that you've moved on until months have passed and you realize that you haven't thought about them. I have dealt with a shockingly high number of traumatic events throughout my life, and every single time one of those events occurred, I always felt like I was never going to move on. I felt like I was always going to have the panic attacks and the nightmares and just all of the consequences that those events can have on you. And then, as months, even years go on, I realized that there are events that happened to me, at 17, 18, 19, that I don't even think about now unless it's triggered by something, versus, events that happened about a year ago or something that I still have nightmares about. I'm still journaling about all the time. I'm still working through a lot of that. And yes, a year is a long time, but in the scale of trauma, it's really not that long, and everybody handles trauma differently. There's no magic wand that you can wave to get over it, and you shouldn't have to. You should be able to give yourself that kindness and that grace to move on from it at your own pace. And your only motivation to move on from it should just be to have a happier, more fulfilled life, and not to be weighed down by all of these terrible things that have happened to you. And number 7, sometimes being selfish is the best thing that you can do for yourself. I always have been the type of person where I am selfless to a fault. I will help everybody around me. If I have $1, I will give you my $1 if that's what you need, And sometimes when you are so selfless, you don't realize that people are taking advantage of you, because all you see is that people around you, typically those that you care about, need help. And if you're able to help them, why wouldn't you? That's how I've always seen it. And it got to a point where I realized that I was helping people so much that I completely disregarded what it was that I need. And it is through this that I tell you, be selfish, say no. Because yes, being selfless is great, but don't be selfless to a point where you can no longer do what's best for you and what's going to serve you best. Our last mental health lesson, number 8, mental health struggles do not go away just because you should be happy now. Now, first of all, let's talk about this, okay? Because I think that sometimes, and it can be because of ourselves and because of how we perceive situations. It can also be because of what other people say. About 9 months ago, I was struggling a lot more with my mental health than I am now, although I am still struggling. And I was in objectively a worse physical and financial situation than I am now. Now, I have a safe roof over my head. I have a stable job. I'm going back to college. I'm writing a lot more. I started up this YouTube channel. And for a while, I felt like I should be happy now. I should have no struggles and I should be perfect because everything in my physical and financial life is fine. But mental health doesn't care how good or how bad you have it. Good or bad are completely subjective. What's good to me might be terrible to somebody else and vice versa. Mental health struggles at the end of the day is something that you have to work through. Some people can handle it on their own. Other people need medication and to go to therapy, and that doesn't make their struggles any more or less valid than somebody who is fighting that on their own. And sometimes you don't have a choice. I would love to go to therapy, I would love to go on medication, but I can't afford it. So I just kind of do what I can on my own. Now, let's get into my general life lessons. Lesson number 9 is that there is no timetable to life. You're not behind, you are not ahead, because there's no timeline. I think that for most of my life, I have been so focused on, when I was a teenager, everybody told me I was miles ahead. Everybody was like, you act like you're in your mid-20s or your early 20s, like you have everything together, you're so ahead. And I felt like in my early adult years, that has really made me feel behind now, because I feel like I haven't progressed much since I was a teenager. And I think something that I've just really learned this year is just that there's no timetable. We're not behind, we're not ahead, we're just moving at our own pace. Lesson number 10, this is one that I am still learning and I am still trying to tell myself every single day, which is kind of a two-parter here, but this is that resting is productive and you don't always have to be productive. I think that especially, I feel like this really hit a swing during COVID. I feel like when everyone during COVID was like, oh, you need to learn a language or learn a new skill, you gotta be productive during quarantine while there's a massive pandemic and people are dying. And at the end of the day, nobody can be productive 24/7. That is just a recipe for fucking burnout. Nobody can be productive 24/7. You have to have rest times. You have to allow yourself to get a full night's sleep. You have to allow yourself time to dick around, watch TV, because if you don't recharge yourself, then you're not gonna be able to keep forward. Lesson number 11 is that finding a balance between being financially responsible and learning to spend money on yourself is probably one of the most important lessons you'll learn in your adult life. And for me, this is something I've always struggled with. I've struggled with either being really irresponsible with my money or so overly careful with my money that I will refuse to spend it on anything other than a bill. Now, obviously, our economy is trash, so if you're the average working person right now, you're probably spending all of your money on your bills. If you are also the type of person that, you don't ever want to spend money on yourself because you feel like it's selfish or you feel like you just shouldn't be doing it for whatever other reason it is, just fucking do it, okay? I spent $700 on myself for my birthday this year, and that was the most I have ever spent on myself, I shit you not, since I was a teenager. Because I always feel guilty. I feel like I should be getting a secured credit card, or I should be, investing it into my author platform or doing something more productive with it. But at the end of the day, we all work hard for our money. So we're allowed to spend it on ourselves, point blank period. Lesson number 12 is there is no perfect life. Everybody's idea of an ideal life is different. So just build whatever life would make you the most fulfilled and you the most happy. Lesson 13 is investing time in yourself is going to be your most important investment. And what I mean by this is recently I started focusing a lot more on my morning and on my evening routines. This right here is my journal. It's not very aesthetic. You literally gotta put it upside down. But this is my journal that I've been filling out since June 18th. So we're almost 2 months into journaling. And this alone has been the best investment of my time. Sometimes when I journal, I feel like it's a waste of time. I feel like, between showering and doing my skincare and journaling in the morning, that's about 2 hours of my time that I could spend, reading or writing or being more productive. But the more I've invested time into myself, especially via my journal, I have come to terms with a lot of things more. I have felt at peace more. I have felt less angry and upset and guilty, and it has helped me so much. So whether for you this is journaling or, getting a therapist or self-help books, whatever investing in yourself looks like, but put time aside for yourself, whatever you want to be doing. And don't think about being productive. Don't think about your goals. Don't think about none of that. Think about what you need right now. And I'm telling you, you will notice a difference. Lesson number 14, when one door closes, another opens. I know this is a cliche quote. I know this is something that every Y2K girl shares on her Pinterest board, but I'm telling you, it's fucking true. I felt like for the longest time, I struggled so much with change, and I'm autistic, so that's kind of that's part of autism. So little you can do there, but I still feel like it's really hard to accept one chapter closing and another one starting. But sometimes you just have to embrace it. I can say with 100% certainty, every single time in my life so far where one door has closed, it has opened another door that has been even better for me. Even if that door wasn't necessarily all good, even if it came with its own trials and tribulations and struggles and setbacks, it was still better than the previous door. And that's what I like to tell myself when I am struggling a lot with closing a chapter, closing a door, because I know something better is waiting for me on the other side. Lesson number 15, intuition exists for a reason, and please, for the love of God, fucking follow it. I am so bad at following my intuition. I will ignore it. I'll be like, no, I'm just being cynical. I'm just being over dramatic. I'm just reading into this. I'm just overthinking. No, listen to your intuition. Intuition is not the same as anxiety. It's not the same as guilt or anger or overthinking or anything else. Intuition is that gut feeling, that pit in your stomach that you feel. And when you feel that feeling, don't hide from that. Don't run away from it. Don't ignore it. Follow that shit, because that feeling exists for a fucking reason. Lesson number 16 is something that if you know me in real life, you'd probably never expect for me to ever say, which is to find something to believe in, whether that is science and facts, spirituality, God, whatever. Find something that you believe in. And when I was younger, I thought that the notion of God and believing in a higher power was so fucking stupid, because from a very young age, I saw how Christians believed, and the whole there's no hate like Christian love thing is very, very true. As a by trans man, I can tell you that with certainty there. But I do think that in my adult life, I started to learn why people gravitate towards these things so much. And I do think that there is a lot of power and belief in believing in something that is higher than yourself, more powerful than yourself. And for me personally, I don't talk about my beliefs a lot online, just because that's something that's very private to me, very personal to me. But I will share with you now that I'm a very spiritual person. I enjoy tarot reading a lot. I'm totally breaking YouTube rule right now, but these are some of my tarot decks. We got more right there. We got my crystals right there. Lighting's terrible here, I'm sorry. And my last general life lesson, number 17, is emotions are meant to be felt, and there's no shame in feeling them. Whatever those emotions may be, whether it's anger, grief, sadness, despair, whatever emotion you are feeling, it's valid. Now, that's not an excuse to act in a way that might hurt somebody either emotionally or physically because of said emotions, but you're allowed to feel them. I think that especially in our society, we tell a lot of people to bury their emotions, to not feel them, and that's just not right. Emotions exist to be felt. Lastly, let's get into my writing life lessons. Starting off strong with number 18, not everybody's going to understand your passion for writing, and that's okay. I think that just in general in life, if somebody doesn't share your passion for something, they're just not going to get it. They can support you, through it and all of that kind of stuff, but they might not get it, and that's okay. Also, as a side note here with this one, if somebody shits on you for having a passion about writing or about anything else in life, fuck them. Don't literally fuck them. Trust me, I did that, did not well. Lesson number 19, the best way to improve your writing is to write more and to read more. I have tried all of the tips and tricks over the years. I have tried everything you can fucking think of to improve your writing. And the only thing that ever actually helped me was writing more and reading a lot more books. I have read so many books this year, and I genuinely think that's one of the biggest reasons why my writing has improved so much, because I've learned little tips and tricks as I'm reading more books. I've learned what type of narrative choices I really enjoy. I've learned what narrative choices I fucking hate. And it's really helped me to fine-tune my writing voice, and I've definitely noticed a lot of growth in my writing throughout the process. And number 20, your writing process will change over time, and that's okay, and it's normal. Writing off and on since I was about 7-8 years old, and I can just say that my writing has changed a lot over time. I feel like I have developed a pretty strong writing routine, a pretty strong writing process, all the way from the plotting process to the editing process, and these things are going to change, and that's okay, and eventually you will find that process that really works for you. And sometimes that process only works for a book or two, and then you change it, and guess what, that's fine, because there's no fucking rules to writing. Lesson number 21, you do not have to have some profound reason to be writing a book or to want to be an author. Your reason can just be because you like writing your genre and you like writing, so that's why you're doing it. And lastly, lesson number 22 is don't rush yourself to be a published author. It will happen in its own time. This is something that I'm struggling with at the moment, which is why I made it the lesson 22. I'm hoping this is something that I will fully come to terms with this year. And that's just because, you know, for the longest time, I felt like I was going to publish super young. Not that I'm not young still, but you know what I mean. I thought I was going to publish by 20 and be a full-time author by 25. And here I am at 22 with no books published. And that's okay, because I've crafted my writing voice. I have perfected my writing process. I've gotten so much experience writing, you know. I have a solid platform on Instagram. I'm building up a platform here on YouTube. You know, I'm doing all of the things to be a successful published author. And I will never stop chasing that dream. But that also doesn't mean that I need to rush the process, because rushing a process never ends well. So if you are also eager to be a published writer and you just feel like it's just not happening soon enough, I hear you. I'm with you. We will get through this. You just gotta have patience, which is something I suck at, but hopefully one day I won't suck at it anymore. With that being said, those are my 22 lessons that I've learned by 22. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, hit that big red subscribe button down below, turn on those post notifications so that you never miss an upload from me, because I'm amazing. And I hope these life lessons were relatable, helpful, inspiring. I don't know, comment your thoughts below. Let me know some life lessons that you've learned as well. And yeah, and if you want even more writing, reading, goal setting, productivity content, definitely subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.